Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over some more Open Great League. It's going to be, it's kind of a team I just threw together. I didn't think too much about it. I did make sure that it had coverage of some weaknesses, but you'll see in this video that, I'll just say it here, I guess, Greninja is kind of weird for this team. Greninja is actually really good against all three of the MON, and surprisingly, I saw 2 Greninja in the 11 games I played. So you'll see that in the games. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get into it real quick. But first, if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button. And let's go ahead and talk about the team a little bit. Whoops. 1 second. And it's here. Yeah, so the team's going to be Lapras in the lead with Dusclops and Shadow Drapion in the back. Now, Shadow Drapion and Dusclops are very safe in Open Great League. And to be honest, Lapras pretty safe as well. Just 3 good MON. I'll say, if you want the games to be super quick, this is not the team. This is definitely a team that's going to be throwing a lot of charge moves, so it's going to take you some time to get through some of the games. Obviously, I did very well with this team, considering I just threw it together. So it's obviously very good. But yeah, it is going to take you a little bit of time to get through the games just because of all the charge moves that you're going to be throwing. It's just so fast to get to your charge moves, especially on Dusclops and Drapion. Both of those under, so 9 turns for Dusclops to get to a Shadow Punch, or even 8 turns to for Drapion to get to Aqua Tail, or 10 turns to get to Crunch. And then 12 turns and 11 turns for Lapras to get to Sparkling Aria. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, first game here against Skeleturge, 1500. That's the first thing I noticed. That's pretty nice. So obviously all 3 of your MON actually are going to be very good against this MON. So it has me questioning at the end. I'm lagging here, you can see. Yeah, it has me questioning whether or not I want to keep Lapras alive, and so I decide I'm going to, especially since they're not switching out of an obvious Watermon versus a Firemon. That's something just to keep in the back of your head. Why are they staying in? They must be weak to Lapras in the back. At least that's how I'm thinking about it. They decide not to shield the second one, and then they just give up. They're probably triple weak to Lapras, to be honest. All right, Dragapult. A bit of an awkward MON for us. They do decide to stay in, so yeah, I switched out of Lapras just because I know both my back MON are going to be able to beat this. So I kind of want to play the ABB in a way against that MON. They do end up coming in with a Corviknight. Corviknight obviously very good against Drapion. But we have a huge energy advantage. If we'd actually gotten the debuff there, it would have been even closer to a KO here for the defensive debuff rather. But we do get it pretty low. I decided to come in with Lapras, and I'm going to go for the full farm down. It does resist Psywave, considering it's a steel type. But yeah, we can get it farmed down here. Lapras is very bulky, so I'm just trying to get a huge energy advantage, so when they come back in with the Dragapult, we can do some damage to it. They actually end up coming in with a Shadow Blastoise. Fine with us. Again, we're going to be able to outpace with Dusclops against the Dragapult, so that's very nice. If they try to get a farm down here, we will get to another Sparkling Aria. Again, you're going to get a lot of charge moves off in these games. I'll probably, yeah, get the 1 turn lag here. So I'm specifically not doing the like move the screen up thing. I don't know. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. In these games, I made a conscious effort not to do it. So again, you're gonna outpace here. This is just a breaking swipe as well. We didn't outpace here because they did have energy gain, or leftover energy from the first matchup he was in with the Lapras. I'm getting pretty low. I decided I'm just going to switch to Drapion anyways. I'm going to be able to farm down the Blastoise and then farm down the Corviknight as well. So GG's. All right, you can see in the top left corner right there, I am lagging, and I actually end up letting a Gust through. Very bad, very bad. It's always tough against Pidgeot here. You don't know if they're going to throw Feather Dance, Brave Bird. I think they have another, I think it's Air Cutter. Yeah, Air Cutter is usually what I think they're running nowadays. But yeah, we get Feather Danced, so I'm probably not going to end up shielding the next one. Plus, we have an energy lead, rather a shield lead now. So I'm going to try to use that for my later mon. It does seem like something like Dusclops is going to be really good in the back. Maybe I should have gone for a crunch here. I don't know exactly the counts for Gust to Feather Dance and Brave Bird. Not a mon you see that much, so I definitely don't have it on my radar for what exactly, like the perfect counts for it, rather. They do come in with a Bastiodon, and I'm going to be able to get 2 Aqua Tails off, which is nice, but I did get Feather Dance, so I'm 2 times attacks debuffed, so I believe it's doing 25% less damage, and I do have a move saved here on Lapras as well. I just want to make sure that I get all the super effective damage off that I can against this, against the Bastiodon, and they have Victory Bell. This is a super toxic team. I should play it maybe on... I might play it tomorrow, to be honest. But we'll see. Anyways, Dusclops here, getting to Ice Punch, which is going to be super effective against the Victory Bell, which is pretty nice. I have a shield, but this is not going to do that much damage. It's a 2 bulky mon just running into each other. And I know that if I get to 2 Shadow Punches, that'll be enough to KO. 1, not even going to be close to enough. Again, for the same exact reason we didn't shield. Just 2 thick mon running into each other, and it's going to take a lot of damage a lot of moves to get through this Bastiodon. But we did get 3 water moves into it, which are super effective, and that's pretty nice. Steelix, this is a bit of an awkward one as well, because it does have Thunder Fang, which is going to be super effective against the Lapras. My best matchup is this Drapion. And the reason for that is that most of these Steelix are running Crunch, which is going to be super effective against that Dusclops there. And but you're fast to get your moves on Dusclops, and I know that. So we did get a little bit of damage into that Steelix, which is super effective anyways. So my plan here is I'm probably going to lose this matchup. At some point they're going to throw a move, or they did Psychic Fangs us, so our defense is lowered. They're going to be able to farm us down here. Or is it attack? Ooh, I should know that, but you'll let me know in the comments, I guess. I'm going to go for the complete farm down here. Even at max energy here, they can throw a Play Rough, and then in 2 more bubbles, they can throw another Play Rough, which is fine. I'm just going to let it KO us. Probably they won't let us farm this all the way down, if I'm guessing. They do end up coming back in with the Steelix. I go for the water move. If they shield, I'm switching. I'm probably switching no matter what, to be honest. And then I got to be really scared. I could have thrown this move, but I didn't know if it was CMP. I don't exactly know the attack stat of the Steelix versus the Dusclops. I know the Dusclops it's pretty average, a pretty low attack stat, just generally. But closer to average than you would think. They end up coming with a Feraligatr. Now, we are debuffed, but I know that I can get this move off, and my switch timer will be up. If you notice on the right side, Lapras is going to be ready to come back in. They kind of have to throw a move here. They end up coming in with the Azumarill, so I'm going to get that farm down that I was supposed to get earlier in the game, and I'll be able to throw the move at Feraligatr. And even though Sparkling Aria is resisted, it is still going to do fine there. Dusclops in the lead. I'm okay with this into any 3 of my matchups, but I want to see when they're going to throw, and I figure they're going to throw 1 more and then throw the Shadow Punch, which is going to be resisted by the Drapion there. They end up coming in with Arachnid. I would say, so it's not going to happen here, spoilers, but most of the time the Arachnids are running Bubble Beam and Water Pulse. Water Pulse being the big move, and then Bubble Beam just being able to reduce the damage that it's taking. It's already a super bulky mon anyways. We're going to go ahead and get to another crunch here. They're trying to farm us down, but it's really a greedy attempt by them there. And then I'm just going to come in with Lapras. I resist all the charge moves anyways. The defense did get lowered, which is pretty nice. They end up having Bug Buzz. You don't really see Bug Buzz too much, especially since the fast attack is going to be Bug Bite, which is, buffed and doing a lot of damage. And now I have to make a call on, I'm hoping this would kill, but it did not. And then I have to make a call on whether or not I want to keep Lapras alive, not knowing what the third mon is. But we have a shield. Lapras has a lot of damage capability here. I decided just to let this go now. They're going to be locked in here since they switched into their Dusclops. So I'm going to go for the full farm down here. Probably at this point, I'm guessing it's running Water Pulse and Bug Buzz, which are the nukes. That's what I'm thinking, at least. And they do end up showing that they're running Water Pulse. It's going to be a Diggersby here in the back. Obviously, in general, this is not a great matchup. But actually, Dusclops is a lot better than you would think. And we have a lot of energy generation from the farm down against the Araquanid, as well as one shield advantage here against this. And we technically do double resist the Quick Attack, which is the fast move that Diggersby has. They do double resist Hex, and we can only throw Ice Beam, but Ice Beam is super effective because they do double resist Shadow Punch as well. Just Ghost versus normal, they double resist each other. Luckily, there are some coverage moves here on both of our MONs, so we don't stay in this matchup for 1,000 years. But yeah, you can see we very easily handled that Diggersby. I also think I would have lived a Scorching Sands, but I didn't want to no-shield just in case. All right. Shadow Dragonite, something we used to see a lot of in the front a long time ago. I decided I'm just going to try to get the shield. I'm going to eat a move here. Night Slash is super effective, and Bullet Punch doing a lot. I wanted to throw in good timing just because I know I can still use this Dusclops against the Shadow Dragonite, having access to the Ice Punch, which is pretty nice. It's going to be double super effective. I'm hoping they don't know the counts, but the third move you can actually get to the Ice Punch one sooner, and they let it go. We end up coming in with the Drapion against the Dedenne. Technically, you can eat one of these, so I'm just going to eat the first one. Probably really should have thrown the Aqua Tail because I actually did switch fast enough to just throw before they threw. Should have definitely done that. We probably would have gotten the shield. Oh, GMCJJ just subscribed while I'm recording this video offline. Thank you for the subscription. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. All right. I'm going to shield because they're at 8. I literally just played these games, so I do remember he was at an 8 count there, and now he's at 9. And this is going to KO. Otherwise, I could have come in with a Lapras and just try to farm down. But I don't have any shields, and Parabolic Charge is going to get awkward. All right, Jellicent in the front. It seems like it's really good against our team, and it is, but it's not as bad as you would think. Drapion, even though they allowed us to get the Drapion hit in there, it's actually not that bad. Drapion obviously is really good against a Jellicent there, but Dusclops is actually pretty good against it as well, just because you super outpace it. It wants to get to those Shadow Balls against you, and I've already made a decision here. My switch wasn't up. So I'm going to shield this. They always seem to throw right at 4 because they win CMP. So I'm going to throw this one, and I'm going to try to catch the next Aqua Tail on my Lapras, which would be resisted water against water. Does end up working out. Try to find these patterns in the people you're playing against. It can help you some of the time. It's not going to help you all the time, but sometimes noticing the patterns that your opponents are playing on will help you out in a catch opportunity or something like that. This Jumpluff ends up running Energy Ball, not great, and we're not running Ice Beam, which is a Community Day move on Lapras. We are running the Skull Bash just to try to beat the other Laprases or have a good play against those other Lapras. Gonna let this go. This seems like it's Aerial Ace. They got to it pretty quick. I know I can go for the Ice Punch here, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna let this go because we need a shield for the Jellicent if they throw Shadow Ball. And I don't know why I shielded this. I knew this was a Surf. It's kind of just in the moment type thing, and then I'm going to end up catching here. Could be a good move, could be a bad move. I mean, my Dusclops is kind of all I need. I need 2 Ice Punches to KO the 2 Mon in the back, at least so I thought. But the Jumpluff actually survives an Ice Punch here. Because I was like, I'm just going to Ice Punch no matter what comes in. I'm going to KO both the things, but now I need to do one, and I'm going to make sure you see, well, you kind of can't see it with the sped up video, but I do wait to see that second Fairy Wind come through before I throw, and then I Ice Punch this Drapion, which we knew was out of energy because we caught the Aqua Tail on our Lapras earlier, right when they got the energy for it. All right, Azumarill. This is another reason why Skull Bash is really good, the Azumarill matchup. I know I said just against the other Lapras, but you're actually really shoring up a lot of your water matchups with that as well. Now, I remember this. I'm recording this 50 minutes. No, almost exactly an hour, actually. It's 9:40. An hour after, so I do remember these battles. I actually could have gotten a little bit of extra energy generation here before throwing the Sparkling Aria. Like 3 more Psy Waves. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5. Could have gotten 5 more Psy Waves. But it's fine. I still got a lot of energy. I'm able to throw it into this next Mon. Ends up being the Bastiodon. Actually, with their Skull Bash, we are going to survive to throw 2 Sparkling Arias. But if we hadn't survived, it actually would have just been a huge mistake for me to have not thrown the extra 5 Psy Waves there. They end up coming with a Talonflame. This matchup's fine. They have to get to 3 the very first time, Incinerates, to throw whether it's a Fly, Brave Bird, or Flame Charge. They actually are the Flame Charge variant, which is a good and a bad thing, I guess. They are buffing their damage. They're trying to use the 2 shields here. But the bad thing is it does take a little bit more time to get to those flame charges than it would be to get to something like the flies. And then they bring in Bastion, and I didn't throw right away. I thought about it for half a second or however long, 1 second, whether or not I wanted to throw the move there onto the Bastion or keep it for the Talonflame. And I decided it was going to be easier for me to just throw that at the Bastion since it's super effective, and I didn't know if a Shadow Punch would actually KO that Bastion. All right, here it is, Greninja in the flesh. They actually switch into Dusclops, which is a great matchup for Drapion. But if you are in this matchup on either side, we obviously are using Dusclops on our side as well. It's not the worst in the world. You're going to get multiple moves off, and you're actually going to weaken it pretty low, which is pretty nice. I ended up going for 2 here because this will KO, and I don't want them to get to another move, which they would have gotten to. Well, we could have CMP'd. That would have been like the perfect amount of energy, but I don't know if they're going to throw on CMP or go for the extra energy. So I'm going to go for that little bit of extra and kind of hope. All right, they come back in with the Greninja. We do have a little bit of an energy lead. We are at a shield advantage as well, which means that when I throw the Skull Bash here, they have to make a real tough decision on whether or not they want to shield or not, because if they do shield and it is the Skull Bash, they're in a great position, but they have to get through 2 shields, and they don't know what's in the back there. And then on that opposite end, they could call a bait, and maybe they did. And if we did bait, they would have obviously survived. And they ended up having Gligar on the back. I'm just going to let Lapras go here, see if I can get that 2 shield win, flex on them a little bit. I do have the Dusclops, which is going to have super effective Ice Punch. And this is technically the strongest move left in the game, so if you wanted to shield and not flex, that would have been it. And the worst thing that this can be is Dig, but they haven't had enough time. Technically, Night Slash, I think it learns, right? Or is that the Gliscor? I think that might be the Gliscor. Actually, it might be both. I'm not too sure. All right, Jellicent. They actually simul-switched with us, which means they didn't want to be in that first matchup either. And in the end, I don't really know what their reasoning was, but you do resist this move no matter what, the charge moves. It's the fast moves you're worried about. But they either switched knowing that I was in such a bad matchup that I was going to switch no matter what, and they just switched to this, or they switched into this knowing that Scizor is fine against Lapras and wanted to just start buffing and taking over the game from there, since it does resist these Psy Waves. Now, the toughest part here is, I know this can be a Trailblaze. They made it to 7 bullet punches, but I don't know if I can get this farm down before they get to another Trailblaze. And I do end up getting the farm down, and actually just a really good moment for me here. Having the Primeape in the back means that I am going to be able to eat one of those Rage Fists and not have to use the shield. So they have a shield advantage on us, but they're going to be taking a lot of damage on their Mon. They did throw on unoptimal timing there. I probably have to shield this because they are boosted now. And there's still the shield advantage, but I have a lot of energy. I'm 2 away from the next Shadow Punch, and they are energy dry, so I'm going to go up to 3 here. So that means they're at 4, which means they're 1 away from a Shadow Ball. I'm going to go ahead and try to catch the Shadow Ball on the Lapras. It won't KO the Lapras, and I have to remember I am out of move on the Dusclops. Dusclops does lose CMP to Jellicent, I believe, and they're actually going to go for the farm down here, and we are not going to make it. But I think I did play this one pretty well. Tough team. Jellicent in the front is actually really tough for this team. I'm glad that I was able to showcase a couple here, and we would have CMP'd here. I mean, we did CMP, but we lose CMP, so tough. We were in surf range as well, so. All right, Greninja, another tough lead. And this one actually stays in, which is fine. End up shielding the Hydro. They get to their moves super quick, so it's just tough. Water Shuriken is a fantastic energy generation move. Greninja is the only Mon in the game that has it. Makes sense, he throws Shurikens. But yeah, a tough lead here. They actually end up baiting, which means that I will survive and get another move off here. Gonna get him pretty low, and actually the defense drop means that we are actually able to farm it down, which is very nice. I can get to the Aqua Tail here, the second Aqua Tail I mean, so I'm gonna throw it back to back. I'm gonna get enough to throw back to back. And was that a CMP? I didn't see a move come through. Hopefully it was. That'd be fantastic for me. Ends up being a Cordelia in the back and actually a Bullet Seed, which is kind of strange. It means that, well, they were always going to outpace me to the Ice Punch. They would have, since they KO'd the Drapion to gain energy no matter what it was. At some point, we are going to get enough energy to KO this. And something to really think about again here is that Dusclops is very good against both the Mon in the back. So I'm probably going to switch out with this energy so that I don't throw a double debuffed move into this. And they are still going to outpace. Well, I technically can get to... No, yeah. They're still going to outpace, which makes sense, to our Sparkling Aria. I do end up shielding a Grass Knot, which is pretty nice. I end up throwing here. I could have gained a lot more energy here, to be honest. Ends up KOing, and they come in with the Gligar, and that's going to be GG. Nothing here is going to KO us. This is the Shadow one. Just remember this season, Gligar did get Fury Cutter, which was, maybe it already, I can't remember if it already had it or if it got it, but Fury Cutter was buffed this season, so very nice addition for the Gligar. If you guys have been playing for maybe the past few seasons, I guess it's been a little while now at this point, maybe like 4 seasons ago, Gligar was super meta, and then Wing Attack got nerfed, so it's interesting to see Gligar coming back. It wasn't even part of Fringe meta before, and now it's not super meta, but it is Fringe meta. You'll see it at least once a day. I think we saw it twice here in these 10 battles, so maybe you'll see it 3 times a day, and that means you're decently meta. Anyways, thank you for watching. Again, this video is more about a balanced team, which is not something I usually run. I usually run more ABB, although this was fine. It was almost ABB, as you saw in some of those games, but yeah, just trying to showcase some more teams. Very neutral 3 Mon, which means you have play against a lot of things, and that's why I named the video Safety, or Safe Mon, or something like that, Safe Swaps. All 3 of these Mon are pretty good. They have a lot of play into everything, and you're going to be throwing a lot of charge attacks. So again, if you want to play your games and be done with all your sets in like an hour, this is not the team for you. But it is a very winning team, and if you just want to win games, this is definitely one. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Hey, thank you for watching the video, and if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button. You'll see any content coming out, and if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.